matter. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. You won't just start all the reading. I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning and welcome to Storytime. Apologies for coming in late, but yes, picked the wrong time to update things over here, and yes, just took forever. And but we're here 15 minutes later. Jeez. Sorry for that. Thank you so much for joining in if you're still here with us. And if you missed us early on, so sorry for that. I hope that, we didn't mess up your routine too much. Thank you so much for joining in today. I'm glad that we're here still. And it was the hardest thing, just sitting here waiting on the system to reboot. So but we're here. Thank you so much for joining in. And we do have a wonderful book to read together. And this one is called A Friend for Henry, coming back to Storytime after a while. It's been over a year, in fact, since this one was back here on Storytime. And it is written by JENN Bailey and illustrations by MIKA Song. And of course, we are reading it with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. A very big good morning to you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Please get ready, get cozy, get comfortable, which I know you already are, I'm sure, waiting for story time while we're here. Thank you for being here. And please, if you're joining us for the live, leave us a message. Let us know you were here, so indeed we can say hi to you. And of course, if you're joining us later for the recordings, please do the same. Leave us a message. Let us know you were here. And indeed, it'll be good to know so we can say hi. Thank you so much for joining in. And once again, apologies for coming in late. Decided to reboot the system thinking we had time, but clearly not. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for being here with us. A friend, Henry, coming up very, very shortly. Thank you so much for joining us today on Storytime. Let us see who is with us. Yes, indeed, somebody indeed that stuck around and is here with us. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. Erin, how are you doing today? And of course, Clara, sending you love, and hopefully you are having lots and lots of fun at school. Clara did get to watch last night. We're sorry to hear about the sad event that happened at the schools yesterday in Auckland. Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah. And I hope I haven't caught up with the news yet this morning, but at least as of yesterday, it seems like there were no fatalities. So holding on to that, and thankful for the little things, and just sad indeed. And the question continues: the access to firearms in this country, what can be done, what needs to be done is known, and I just wish that we could actually move it forward and do something about it. Thank you for sharing that, and indeed sparing thoughts for the families involved, the parents that were being called from wherever they are, being told about that incident at their schools, and trying to get there, not knowing if your little ones are okay. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine the thought of that. But I'm sure all you parents out there sympathize at a whole different level too. Thank you so much for sharing that, and good morning to you, Tara McNamara. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to the community. Absolutely needed. And yes, everybody here in Oakland, I think definitely shaken, but also, like it's a very resilient city. So I hope that we continue to move forward and yeah, solutions to this thing. We know what it should be done. So thank you so much for sharing and welcome to Storytime. Thank you for being here. And yes, thank you for allowing this space to be a space that we can share news items and, of course, what's happening in our world. And even when they're hard like this one, we get to at least just um, talk about them and not just hold them inside, but talk about them, let them out, and yeah, let it be known too. Like we hear so much from the leaders say we condemn this, we don't want this to happen, but we need to see action. We need to see things happening with the powers that be. So yes, just hoping and continuing to put pressure on these leaders that the right things can be done. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely appreciate you, Tara McNamara, and of course, Erin. Hugs to you, Clara. I hope that you are having a wonderful day at school. Good morning to you, Pamela. Courtney, how are you doing today? Braylon, Chad, thank you so much for joining us from out in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you so much for being here. And we will be reading A Friend for Henry. And this one is written by Jen Bailey and illustrations by MIKA Song. And of course, being read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Coming up very, very shortly. Thank you for being here indeed. Absolutely heartbreaking. And yeah, it's just, it keeps coming back over and over. And we know what should be done. I wish that things could not be so politicized, like doing the right thing should be easy. The right thing should be there for everybody to see, you would think. So yeah, just we keep plugging away, we keep moving, but also we keep showing up, keep asking for the right thing to be done. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad that you are here indeed, and we're reading this heartwarming, comforting book. And yes, may you find those friendships, those communities that help build, and indeed that do turn up when needed. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. We'll be getting started with our story very, very shortly. I hope you're ready. Well, I know you're ready. I was here 15 minutes late, so we'll get into our story. Short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you so much for joining in today.
This is Anika Mrose-Reese, author of The Teacher's Pet, Watch Out for Wolf, Love Sophia on the Moon, the Anna Banana chapter book series, and Hide and Don't Seek and other very scary stories. And you are watching Storytime with Mr. LaMotta.
Thank you, Anika Mrose-Reese. All right, here we go. And it is, well, Halloween is upon us. So hide and don't seek. Find it, read it, enjoy it. And we'll see if we can bring it back to story time too for one more read. It is Halloween coming up after all. All right. This one coming to you from Chronicle Books of San Francisco is called A Friend for Henry. And let's just, for those of you that, well, if you don't know it, or indeed just a reminder, this one, it says, in classroom 6, second left down from the hall, Henry is looking for a friend. A friend who shares, a friend who listens, maybe even a friend who likes things to stay the same and all in order like Henry does. But in a day full of too close and too loud, when nothing seems to go right, will Henry ever find a friend? Or will a friend find him? Well, let's read and find out. A Friend for Henry by Jen C. Bailey and illustrations by MIKA Song, and of course being read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. In classroom 6, second left down the hall, Henry was looking for a friend. In classroom 6, second left down the hall, Henry was looking for a friend. It couldn't be Jilly who circled her fishbowl. She's quiet, thought Henry, but she can't play on the swings. No, maybe not Jilly. It couldn't be Mrs. Magoon who knew about hugs. She shares, thought Henry, but she has to. Could it be someone else in classroom 6? Could it be? Who could it be? Could it be Jilly? But Jilly can't play on the swings. Could it be Mrs. Magoon? She shares, but because she has to. Could it be someone else in room 6, in classroom 6? In art class, Vivian shared Henry's double easel. Vivian was a kaleidoscope, a tangle of colors. She had ribbons and clackety shoes. She knew every Pawnee song. Her fingernails were painted like rainbows. When I get paint on my fingers, Henry said, I wash it off. Vivian waved her hands too close to Henry's face. My mommy painted them. Aren't they pretty? Vivian said. Painting on people is against the rules, said Henry. Did your mommy get in trouble? No. Henry lowered his voice. Did you get angry? Why should I? Vivian was confused. But Vivian was very angry later. He ruined them, she said. She likes rainbows, Henry explained. And he thought a friend would say thank you. Oh no. Reading time was Henry's favorite. My friend will like it too, he thought. It was Henry's turn to put out the carpet squares. He tacked the blue ones next to the brown ones, green in the middle. All the edges met and the corners fit perfectly. Reading time, shouted Samuel. My favorite! Samuel was a thunderstorm, booming and crashing. He was kind of scary if you didn't have your blanket. He could pick up crayons with his toes and do proper somersaults. Whoa. Henry stepped in front of Samuel. Somersaults are hard. Samuel dodged past. I want a green one, he shouted. I want a green one, said Samuel. Wait! Henry's throat felt tight. They are perfect! Mine's a magic carpet from a genie's lamp, said Samuel. It's not. Henry's face was hot. It's from Rug World. There's the sticker. Up, up, and away, magic carpet. Oh, booming and crashing, Henry's fingers curled, closed. A friend listens, he said. Oh, friends listen indeed. Oh my. Henry, Mrs. Magoon knelt in front of him. Sit with me, please. Henry did, but he couldn't see the pictures, and his carpet square was brown. Oh no. During snack time, Jaden took 3 crackers instead of 2. At recess, Riley dug up worms and let them use the swings. Oh my. What are you doing, Riley? At free time, Henry's hope for a friend felt small, very small indeed. He watched the sunlight play along Jilly's scales. He could watch Jilly for a long time. Katie watched too. Oh, yes. He could watch Jilly for a long time. Katie watched too. Katie smelled strawberry milk. She read storybooks all by herself. She slid down the big slide, sometimes backwards. Whoa, the big slide is too big, said Henry. It does look a little too big, doesn't it? Ah. Jilly floated past. She's shimmery, said Katie. But she doesn't blink, said Henry. What does she do? She burps pebbles, Henry thought, and breathes underwater and turns sunshine into colors. Henry hunched into his sweatshirt. Oh, does fish things. Katie bent to have a closer look. I like her. Henry tried not to blink. Want to play blocks? Sure. Oh. I like that. It does fish things. I don't like triangles, said Henry. I don't like broccoli, said Katie. Together they built a tower. It had rectangles, cylinders, and squares, but no triangle. No triangles or broccoli. No triangles or broccoli. Oh. It's perfect, said Henry. Thank you, said Katie. Oh. It's perfect. Thank you. The next day, they played on the swings, and Katie went down the big slide. Henry waited at the bottom for his friend. Oh. Oh, look at that. And that is the end of our story. Join me on the other side of this very short break.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Davis. I'm a children's book author, illustrator, and high school art educator. I am the author of 30,000 Stitches, the inspiring story of the National 9/11 flag, illustrated by Sally Warren Comport and published with Worthy Kids # book group. One thing that drew me to writing 30,000 Stitches was the idea that people from all different communities came out to stitch this flag and make it whole again. So I hope that when people read 30,000 Stitches, they remember the power of sharing our stories. When people came out to stitch the flag, they shared their stories, whether about loss or pain or love. We all have stories to tell, and by sharing our stories and listening to one another's stories, we can create a better understanding of each other and create a sense of connection and unity. And this is what creates a more inclusive world. I hope you enjoy your story time with Mr. LaMotta. Bye, everybody.
Oh, thank you indeed. A more inclusive world by learning about others' stories, listening to others' stories, and indeed sharing our own as well. And just to close out today, too, as we were reading A Friend for Henry, and this book has been described as a warm, insightful and warm. This heartfelt story from the perspective of a boy on the autism spectrum celebrates the everyday magic of finding a first friend, but also just celebrates the magic of kids and all. However, what whoever they are and however they show up, they turn up in this world, just being allowed to be themselves, being allowed in spaces where we can have people that can listen to us and understand. And remember too that we all have our little things, we all have our differences, and that's what makes us special. So as we learn more about others, as we understand, we try to understand a little bit more, then we can be better neighbors, better friends, better classmates, better everything, every space that we share, community members. So just think about that too as we're going out in these spaces. Let us learn about others, take the effort, put in the effort to do that. And usually we leave those things to the people that are affected. For example, in this case with Henry being on the autism spectrum and having all the things that, things getting too loud, or, people getting too close, and people not sharing right, or not doing certain things. And realizing too that how can we be considerate, how can we learn and understand, so we can, when we're in spaces with our friends, we are the best possible selves that we can be. So thank you so much for joining in. And this book is just a reminder too of all those little things sometimes that we take for granted, that our friends see differently. And so let us just try to remind ourselves to ask, to listen to other people's stories, and so we can be good neighbors. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you. This book is definitely one that will be back here on Storytime many times, and I'm glad that it was back today to remind us of the things that we can do in our neighborhoods, of the diversity, the differences that we all bring to this world. Thank you so much for joining in. A Friend for Henry, written by Jen Bailey and illustrations by MIKA Song, and of course read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining in today. And once again, I want to say apologies for coming in late, 15 minutes late. Decided to reboot the system here, and thought it would be quick, but we ended up being later than usual, way later than usual. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for joining in, and I hope that you can join us, for those of you that available, or indeed later on those joining us at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I hope that you get to enjoy this lovely book, a good reminder indeed of just how to be good citizens and the differences that are there in the world. Each one of us brings our own quirks, our own goodness, and in our own way turn up in spaces, and we hope that this world continues. Well, we learn to be inclusive. I hope that our spaces can be inclusive spaces indeed. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. Absolutely love that one. Tomorrow, I bring back another exciting book. This one is from a very good friend. Yes, oh my goodness. This one is coming back after a long time, and it is called A Heart in the Sand. This will be the second time that this one comes back to Storytime, and Un Corazón en la Arena. And that's A Heart in the Sand. And this one is written by Christy Daprin and illustrations by Luis Guijarro, and will be coming to you here tomorrow on Storytime. And I also must just say too, on Storytime tomorrow, it will be a recorded session, because I have to be at a training early tomorrow, so we'll instead do a recorded version, which we'll bring to you here. So from me, it's goodbye for now, and I'll see you on Monday for more story time. But we do have one more recorded session that will be here with you tomorrow, that will be live here tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time, as well as 11 a.m. Pacific time. So please join us on those times, and I hope that you get to enjoy this wonderful story. Of course, we're back on Monday. I'll be right here in the same spot, and hopefully we'll be reading a wonderful book together. Thank you so much for joining in. I will see you here on Monday, but remember that Storytime is here again tomorrow for one recorded session to close out the week. Thank you so much for being here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Sending you love, and I hope you know that we play our part in making this world more inclusive. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Much love, and I will see you again tomorrow. No, I'll see you on Monday, but be here tomorrow for Storytime. Much love from me. Bye-bye. And just a quick reminder too that Tara was joining us this morning, of course, with Erin. How are you doing, Erin? And of course, Clara, hoping you're having lots and lots and lots of fun at school. Good morning to you one more time, and indeed, too, thank you for just highlighting the news about the incident in Oakland and sending strength, and definitely happy that so far everybody, yes, there were people that were injured, but so far it looks like people are on the mend. And I haven't listened to the news this morning, so I'll be catching it up on that later on. And I hope that as of last night, the news has remained the same. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. And of course, Braylon, Chad, and Auntie Pam, thank you indeed for joining us out in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Hugs to you, and I will see you again very, very shortly for Story Time. Thank you for being here with us. Pamela Courtney, yes, indeed, heartbreaking news. Just, yeah, gut-wrenching, and it's hard to explain, to see how when sense is said and sense is pushed forward as a solution, it's still shut down, it's still pushed back. Wonder what what we're supposed to do. And please do not give up, though. Continue taking part in all the different things that that happen, that will keep pushing, whether it's helping groups that try to reduce gun violence, whether it's getting involved, donating to some of these organizations, getting involved in writing letters to our leaders. Let us do that. Keep at it, and hopefully we see results someday soon. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Much love from me, and I'll see you again tomorrow-ish, and then I'll see you on Monday for more Storytime. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Story Time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Story Time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing